everybody, and welcome back to another great edition of the Grue Rume Show. And for the Grue Rume Show today, we got a very great guest, and he is an actor and a musician as well. And his name is Jay Towns, and he stars in a, a film and musical. It's both. It's a movie and a musical. It's called Good Enough, and he's one of the main actors in it. And he it is a film dedicated to gay storylines, LGBTQ, and I'm really looking forward to talking to him about the film, about playing a character in the film, and he plays Jamal, and I am Rocco Cross. I am the host at Stutters, as you could tell already, and I am the host of the Grue Room. And my interview with the amazing, talented actor and musician Jay Towns will be coming up very shortly. And go see Good Enough, the movie and musical, which will be coming soon. And we will talk about that, and you will find out when it will be coming out. So stay tuned. Okay, welcome to Grue, and thank you so much for taking time out of your night and coming on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. I'm excited to be here.
Awesome, thank you, I appreciate that. So like the first thing I wanted to ask you, I see you act and you also do songs too. So what drew you to want to get involved with acting and doing music?
Man, I mean, I guess it really started for me in. I've been a music guy my whole life. I mean, I grew up going to church and stuff,
Hmm.
so music is a very fundamental part of that kind of community, and so I always kind of grew up singing songs and like I really enjoyed it. And then I kind of started making it my own and really actually going for it more in high school. I did my first plays and musical theater, which was, for a high schooler, musical theater, I feel like was the only way to really do, live performance in a way that was like, I don't know, that seemed like it was worth doing, I guess, or
Yeah.
like that you have a platform for. I think a lot of, at least for me, like as a high schooler, I didn't have very many resources to like work on that artistic
Mhm.
side. So really musical theater kind of drew me to both acting and live performance.
Oh wow.
Um, yeah, but I mean, and now, I go to school at Northwestern University. So I am a theater major here. I also
Nice.
studied, yeah, and I'm in my last quarter. So
Okay.
I'm graduating in June, which is crazy. Um, and yeah, I mean, so I do theater here, and then over the COVID time was when I started producing my own music and, releasing my own songs. And so that was kind of hand in hand right around the time that Good Enough was kind of being developed. And
Ah.
it was supposed to be actually a stage musical originally. And then due to COVID and other things, they kind of rewrote it to be a film. And that's kind of how we have the product that we have today. And that's how I ended up doing, how I started acting and how I started doing music.
Wow. Okay, that's really awesome. I like that. And I
Thanks.
I could see you play the guitar like you got. It looks like an
Oh,
acoustic and an
he's
electric. Is it? Yeah.
yep. This was my first guitar purchase. I bought that myself when I
Okay.
was in like I don't know, ninth grade or something. It was a big deal. It was a big deal for me. And yeah, this one I picked up in college, and actually my old roommate, my freshman year roommate,
Hmm.
um, he sold that to me a couple years ago, and I've been getting some
Nice.
some decent use out of it. But they look great hanging on my walls. I think I'm
They
glad they
really
work.
do. I love it.
I'm glad they work as good decoration because unfortunately I don't use them as instruments as much as I should.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I was like looking up, like it looks like the very first song you ever did is I Don't Mind, right? Wasn't that like your very first song you worked
Sure.
on? And
Yeah, man, that was wow. Yeah, it was a long. It feels like a long time ago. It's only like a couple years, I guess, but I've changed so much since. But yeah, I mean, that was my first song. That was co-produced by my buddy Michael Landy, and I would not have been able to make that without him. Just this guy I had met on campus my freshman year, and then we linked up my sophomore year, and I was like, "Yo, you like a music guy, right?" I'm like, "Cause I got a song, and I'd love if you could help me record it." And he really helped me put that out, and then yeah, I put that out I think in February 2020, and that was the beginning of my musical journey.
wow, okay. And one of the songs I saw you done, like I love how you called a song "Fake Friends." I mean, that definitely hits with a lot of pe- people, like whether they're kids or teenagers or grown adults. You're always going to come across like friends you think are your friends and turn out to be the fake ones. And
Yeah, man. It's a tough realization to have. I think, I'm one of those people where I do not try to burn bridges. You know what I mean? Like it's very actually difficult for me to let go of even a situation that's like toxic, because I kind of just, I mean, as an actor too and as an artist, I think that there's something inside of us. I don't know if you feel this way. I mean, even with the content that you put out too, where it's like you want people to like you, like you
yeah,
don't want to have enemies,
yeah,
but
exactly.
kind of what I realized is that in my time at like in college and becoming an actor and an artist that some people just don't have your best interest in mind and will kind of stick around to talk about you but don't
Oh,
really
I know.
support you. I'm sure you felt similarly. You're doing your thing. As soon as you start doing something, building a brand, I feel like you're gonna have some great supporters, but you're just gonna have people that are jealous or just don't really want to see you succeed. And
Yeah,
it's harder when they're actually kind of quieter and like they're pretending to be your friends and they're not actually. It's easier, when somebody's like, I don't like you, man. I'm like, okay, thanks for letting me know.
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
it hurts a lot more sometimes when it's somebody you think is in your corner, and then it's like, oh man, like they actually are not looking for me to succeed.
Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah. You felt that way
Oh
before?
my
Or?
God, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, more times than I would like to admit. Like, there's definitely been some people that came in and out of my life that I thought were there for the long haul, but really
Yeah,
wasn't.
man. But I think it's great because I always feel like, kind of the philosophy I'm building is like if you got people who are trying to stop you for what you're doing, then you must be doing something pretty cool. And like at the end of the day, like if you've got something you're building up yourself that is, it means something to you and like you're helping people and you're having a good time, like there's always going to be people who want that. I mean, that's
Yeah,
cool. And like unfortunately, it manifests as jealousy sometimes, but I try to take it as flattery, and it's like I'm doing something that somebody else's wishes they were doing too. So I
that's
mean,
true.
can't really blame them.
Yeah, that's true. You're right. And what inspired you to write your other song? I think that was like your latest one you did, Daydream.
Oh, Daydream, yeah, yeah, man. That song, that's actually I would say so. Daydream is a song off of 2K, which is the album I released in June of
Mhm.
2020. And that song actually was one of, I don't know if it's the only one on that album, but I know it's a song that's more, it's sung from like an ideal point of view. Like I never really, that it's like a love song and it's
Yeah,
very like, relaxing. And I feel like at the time I was drawing from all of the good parts of a relationship I had been in and kind of put them all into one thing. Not like I had felt all those things at once, but I kind of realized, one thing that I think really good songwriters do is they don't necessarily, explicitly state, this is what happened to me at this time and this is how it made me feel. But rather, you got really great songwriters like, I mean, Taylor Swift or like John Mayer, Ed
yeah,
Sheeran, Benny Blanco, list goes on. People who write for other people a lot and really have to kind of like embody a feeling rather than a specific situation. And so that I for Daydream, I very like specifically remember, you know, this is not exactly how I experience something, but I think, what song would I like to listen to if I were deeply in love?
Yeah.
And like I really did feel that way about someone. Like, what is something that would make me feel like, what would make this relatable? What would make me want to share this?
Mhm.
And so yeah, that was I loved recording that song. I think it's got a nice melody, nice beat. But yeah, that was kind of how that song came together. It was like it was looking through the lens of like an ideal relationship, I think.
Sweet, nice. I mean, those are usually the best songs. Like someone writing about like love or relationship, or as sad as it is, like heartbreak, like someone leaving you or you leaving them. Like those are usually like the best kind of songs.
Yeah, they really are, man. They tug on the heartstrings.
Yeah.
It's relatable, and sometimes it's hard to make something. I know a lot of artists, they kind of there's no one right way to do it. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? A lot of times people will write literally their experience. I mean, I know that happens a lot in rap music, which I also dabble in.
Nice,
And like,
nice.
I think, that's just as valid, to be like, people are listening to my music for my story.
Hmm.
And that's something I can amplify. That's why I think Kendrick Lamar is so popular. He's a
Yeah.
storyteller. J. Cole, like, these are people that, I mean, they write catchy hooks and things, but I mean, those verses are about them. It's about their literal life. And, maybe somebody else might relate to that, but it's also still true and from the heart. And so there's no one way to write like a great song, I don't think. I've definitely not gotten close, I don't think, to writing what I consider to be the epitome of like
Okay.
great songwriting. But you got to start somewhere, and I enjoy doing it. So those are some people I definitely look to when it comes to different schools of thought when it comes
Yeah.
to writing songs.
Sweet, sweet. And like, how did you wind up finding out about the film Good Enough, and how did you wind up getting cast too?
Man, it's such a blur, because it feels like it happened so fast, but it also happened over a relatively long period of time. So I honestly might be getting some of this wrong, but as far as I remember, I auditioned for Good Enough through Backstage, which is an app that like
Oh
actors
yeah,
use
yeah.
to find gigs.
Hmm.
Um, and I was just trying to start up my career, trying to find some gigs outside of like my school, build some networks in the Chicago area. And so I just auditioned. I'm pretty sure I just submitted an audition for the stage version of the show.
Okay.
And I don't think they got back to me for a while. I think I probably had forgotten about it because that's kind of just the way that you have to do. You audition, you can't take it personally if you don't hear back. They got a
Yeah.
lot of things to look through. But I do think they eventually hit me back like some months later and asked if I was interested, to which I replied an expedient yes. Um, and then COVID happened, and I'm pretty sure that like that was when they kind of were trying to figure out what they were going to make this project into, and it turned out, as a film, and they kind of rewrote it to fit that, and kind of put that whole story together to fit like a film version. And
Mhm.
so after a while, I mean, the first part of the project, from when I started working on it,
Yeah.
was recording the songs. And so I would come into Mike and Adam's place, and we'd go into Mike's studio, and we would record the music that was going to later become the soundtrack. And that's what we used to choreograph for the film, and that's what we ended up using when we made the music video portions of the film.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And what did you like best about playing your role for the film?
I mean, there's a lot, but I honestly feel like I told Mike that I secretly always wanted to play like a basketball player. That's been like a bucket list thing because I played basketball in high school and I play pickup
Nice.
basketball every now and then. And like basketball has been like a really important part of my life, or like it was for a long time. And so, but usually, sports and music and theater were kind of opposed to one another in my life. So I usually had to pick, either play this sport or do this show. And like
Mhm.
it was really cool to be a part of something where like I felt like I could draw from some real experience in my life and you know like be a basketball player that was like good on screen. And that was like that was very satisfying to me, and I enjoyed that part of filming especially.
Nice. Well, I mean, I'm sure you're just as good on the court when when the film isn't rolling, right?
You know, I'd like to think so. I mean, every look, all I'll say is that when I go to do some pickup basketball at like my local gym or whatever, they'll be like, "Hey, you're pretty good, kid."
There
And
you
I'll take
go.
that as a win. So yeah, that's all I can say about that.
Okay, there you go. So going into the film, you definitely knew how to at least dribble a ball, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. You know, once you get your hands on that film, you're gonna love. We gotta look. I don't want to spill too many beans, but let's just say there's a nice gym montage where you're gonna see me really going to work. So
Nice.
you're gonna have to let me know what you think about that.
Oh, definitely will. Yeah, nice, nice. And like, are you and your char- character for the film, are you similar in ways or different? I mean, of course, it seems like you're like him with the sports, playing ball and stuff. But other than that, are you similar to him or different?
I'd say, in a lot of ways similar.
Okay.
I mean, I feel like, there's maybe other actors watching this might have some different takes, but I always feel like it's important for me to like bring myself to a character. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a lot of what we talk about in like acting pedagogy is, not judging the character and really seeing where they're coming from. And I think that for me, in a majority of ways, well, talking about Jamal,
Yeah.
this is a guy who's really talented. He wants to go to college. He wants to do, grad school, but he also wants to play professional basketball. And,
Exactly.
both of these things are kind of at odds with him. And in the midst of all of that, he's having an identity crisis with his sexuality, but
Yeah.
also his relationship with his family, and with this reporter guy who's getting in the way of like what he thinks that his job is and what his focus should be. So I mean, I think it's very relatable to anybody who's got a lot of things going on, especially if you've got a lot of interests and maybe a lot of talents, and trying to figure out how to allocate your time and your attention. You can sometimes forget to just take time for yourself and think, well, what do I want? Um, am I okay with what I want?
Yeah.
Do I feel comfortable expressing what I want to other people? Do I feel like I'll be supported in those decisions? Those honestly are a lot of the overarching themes that I see with Jamal that apply to me, but not only me. I think that honestly, it's a pretty relatable character. I think Mike did a good job of writing that character that everybody can see a little bit of themselves in Jamal. I happen to see a lot of myself in Jamal, but yeah.
Oh man, I like that. Nice, nice. And like for people that actually want to see the film, and they should, because the film looks awesome. Like, can you tell us a little bit about the film and about who you play in the film?
Yeah, absolutely. So, Good Enough, the musical, is a film about a student and his relationship with the world around him, his relationships with, his future, with his family, and with other people. And so that person is me. I'm Jamal, Jamal Woodard, who is a fantastic basketball player at KIU, Kankakee, Illinois University, and he's looking to go play professional basketball. In the midst of all of this, he's having some personal reckonings with his own, what he wants from other people, as well
Mm,
as what he feels like he needs to be for larger audiences, and that's something that he struggles with. And that brings him a lot of turmoil, gets him in some trouble, and ultimately he has to make a decision for himself and think, am I good enough? Am I good
yeah.
enough as I am? That's where the title comes from. I might be, this is not the official, description of the show, but this has been my experience with the film, and I think that yeah, really the crux of the narrative is like in all of these ways, this guy trying to navigate, what is for me? And am I good enough to be loved as I am? Am I good enough at what I do to be recognized for it? Am I good enough of a person to deserve love? And, again, these are some really just some broad, themes, but I really think that the film does a really good job of really molding it all together and making it into a story that you can follow, and you fall in love with characters and you fall out of love with characters and everything in between. So yeah, that's been my experience with Good Enough.
Wow. Okay. I mean, just by saying that, you make me want to see the film. I mean, I was going to see it no matter what, but like after hearing that, like it definitely makes you want to see it more now.
I'm glad to hear that. I will say also, I don't know if you're going to ask about this, but one thing that I personally think is super unique and cool about Good Enough is that there are the way that the music works within the film is unlike anything I've seen before.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's I don't know if you're familiar with like a musical film kind of setup. There are movies like, I mean, most recently like Tick Tick Boom, or like
Yeah.
things like that where music is incorporated. But all I'll say is that I've never seen anything that's incorporated music quite like this, and it's a very artistic approach that I appreciate, and I think is what is going to make Good Enough uniquely successful. So yeah, I'm excited for people to see it and like really kind of engage with a new form of film that at least I've not seen before.
Oh, wow. Okay. I'm getting more and more curious to see this film.
Yeah.
And without giving a lot away, since the film isn't out yet, if you're allowed to say, is there a scene that you like best from the movie?
Um, I mean, you know, I don't think there's anything particularly that I have to like steer away from. I will
Okay.
just say that I think there's a scene for everybody, and what I mean is that kind of like I was saying, you kind of fall in and out of love with different characters
Yeah.
as the film goes on. And what I think is so powerful about it and relatable about it is that you kind of just never know where it's gonna quite go. Um,
Okay.
I'll just say that straight up, my favorite part of the film is like the basketball montage. It was a
Yeah.
lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to shoot. It was really a really dope like area that we were shooting in, and it was a really nice day that day. We were like all over this building. And honestly, it was really cool to kind of that was the first time I'd done anything like sport related on screen, and I thought that was like super unique and cool for me personally. So that's my favorite part of the film. But there's definitely, there's so much to kind of unpack with the film, and I think everybody's going to find, a character or a scene that they like really like they feel like is very, close to them and that they feel like they can relate to or really enjoy.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. And like you, you and Trey are like the main guys of the film. And was this like your very first role where you have like kissing scenes and sex scenes and like man to man like kissing and hooking up and all that stuff?
Yes, yes, and yes. Yeah, it was a very it was a new experience for me on film for sure. I mean, and that was something that I definitely was. I wanted to make sure that I was representing, appropriately, and I spoke to Mike specifically about, we had conversations about, what is this film saying, because I
Yeah.
think that especially when it comes to representation on screen, especially with marginalized identities, it's always so important to really let the story tell itself and let the identities be what they are, Like, I think that oftentimes one thing that I love about film is that it allows you to see the humanity in people, and it allows you to
Okay.
see the way that they make decisions and the way that they come to the way that they act. You get to see a little bit of that internal monologue. And what I think is so brilliant about it and why I really enjoyed working on it was because I was drawing from my own personal experience, but I was not the only person who had to figure it out. I Trey was amazing to work with. He's as far as I know, he was the first boy I've ever kissed on screen.
Oh wow,
Wouldn't,
okay.
wouldn't have it any other way. Great kisser, first of all.
There you go. Okay.
But also, it wasn't like we were winging it at any time. We had an intimacy coordinator who was very deliberate about, what story are we telling by moving your hand here? What
Yeah.
happens if it moves here? What is that saying? And is everything that we're doing intentional and telling the story in the way that we want it to be received? And that was something that was really important for me because I think that a lot of times, especially like in like LGBT films, like
Mhm.
I never I think it would be doing good enough a disservice to have the story be solely focused on, oh wow, there's like, this scene between these two guys, it's
Yeah.
super hot, which it is, but it's it's the context that this occurs in that gives it meaning and gives it value and makes it, worth watching and understanding like this is a real connection that these two people have. And Jamal is struggling with understanding himself
Yeah.
in the context of his own situation. And that I think is the story that's being told very well by just how intimate, these scenes can be and how, you really begin to see the struggle and the tension that the characters are going through in each decision that they make. And that's what I find to be very endearing about the story and about specifically Jamal and Trevor's relationship.
Oh wow. Yeah, because I just interviewed Trey, and he was saying the same thing, how they had a a coach on the set, like in intimacy, however you say that word.
Good. You got it. That was it.
and, and like the person on set was telling you, like, you know I mean, of course you and Trey like know how to do stuff. I mean, but like
Yeah.
but like they're over there to make sure like no one feels out of place. And if you could touch the person here and hold them here and kiss them, and Trey was even saying that like there was someone always there, like while you and him were kissing, hooking up, and all that stuff. And it was
Yeah.
never it it was never like weird or anything. It was just like,
Not at all.
someone was always there to make sure everything was good.
Yeah, I think that's, one of the trends that has come recently in theater and film and TV that I think absolutely needs to stay and be supported is intimacy coaching.
Yeah.
Because, I for too long on TV, especially in TV and film, just practices that directors sometimes have that go unchecked
Mhm.
can really be detrimental to not only the story and the storytelling of the film, but honestly to the people on set and like the comfortability that you feel, and that messes with chemistry and that can
Yeah.
mess with a bunch of things. And it's not like you said, I mean, you know we're adults, we know how to do stuff,
Well,
but
yeah, of
that's not the
course.
point. It's more about, what story are we telling, and does everybody feel comfortable in this situation so that we can explore what that means to us and make sure that that is we're telling a story that we want to tell. So I am a huge advocate for it. I have, yeah, I've honestly, I felt so comfortable the whole time. And I think that's largely due to the structures that we put in place to make sure that that was happening.
Sweet, sweet. And how was it like working with Trey and sharing scenes with him?
Man, I mean, Trey's a super great guy. First of all, he's got the cutest smile ever. He just like, and it like brightens up my whole day. Um, I mean, it was really cool too because Trey, first of all, we have matching names like Trey and Jay, and then we're playing Trevor and Jamal. I mean, come on, it's kind of fate.
Right?
Um, he's got a great voice. And also, it's just like the thing is, at least in my experience on films, it's like the real experience that you're having happens between takes, And I've been on sets where, some actors love to just stay in their zone and they're quiet and they, just do them and then they do a great performance and that's awesome.
Well, yeah.
But one thing I really loved about Trey and the whole Good Enough team was that it really did feel like a family, which is a common feeling for theater, but at least in my experience on film, things tend to be a little bit more structured and sometimes a little bit colder, but that's really the opposite of what I felt on this set. I
Oh,
felt
good.
like I could trust everybody. I was talking to everybody about, what do you think about this? Or like, and Trey and I are like great friends now, and we
Oh,
met
good.
on this set. I never met him before, and like
Yeah.
we support each other in all of our endeavors. And like I just think he's a great person to work with. I'm sure we're gonna work together again sometime down the line, but he's booked and busy as always. So I'm not sure when that's gonna be happening again, but I look forward to it.
Okay. Okay. And when I was interviewing Trey, he also said that you're a good, good kisser. So you said the same thing about him. So
Well,
I guess you both feel the same way.
definitely, yeah. There's some chemistry there. I wonder what Trey's boyfriend is going to think about that. No, but I met him too a couple times, and he's nice.
Okay, yeah.
Oh man.
I know that's funny. You'll go to a screening and Trey's boyfriend be sitting there like just looking at you with the daggers.
No, I mean, he knows what we're getting into, and I think he's a supportive guy.
Yeah. And did you have to get in shape for this role? Because I mean, from what I saw from like the shots and the pictures, you you don't have a shirt on a lot of scenes, and so like, did you have to train hard for that, just knowing that you weren't gonna have a shirt on for a lot of the scenes?
Man, I wish I could say I did like this rigorous routine that like, I was eating only protein for like 3 weeks straight. But no, I mean, I was conscious of the fact that I would be like on screen, like with my shirt off or like in like, tank tops or whatever.
Yeah.
So, I was working my camera angles and I was doing what I needed to do. I am an active person, so I hoped that, I would fit myself well and feel comfortable in front of the camera. But honestly, I didn't put too much preparation to it. Just thought, my body's going to tell the story it wants to tell today, and that's all I can leave it at.
Exactly. That's awesome. That's awesome. And what did you like most about being on set for the film?
Man, I mean, it's just like what I was saying earlier. It's just the people. The people is what matters the most, I mean, because as much as I think the film is fantastic,
Yeah.
it's going to do great, and we had a great time making it. What sticks with you, excuse me, what sticks with you is the experience that you had. And like, I think back to the times that we were filming, and
Mhm.
yeah, it was stressful at times, and yeah, we had long days, but at the end of the day, like, I had the privilege to work with artists that really wanted to tell a story. Mike, I mean, I look up to Mike in so many ways too. Mike Spears, the director. I mean,
Mhm.
that man does it all. He's worked in music, he's worked in theater, and he's now getting into like film. And like, I mean, I learned so much from him. And also to have a guy like that as a friend for me is especially cool and special. And like, Adam is fantastic producer. I mean, the whole team, I mean, seriously, it's just knowing that I had this experience and that I was able to share this awesome project with all of these people, and that those relationships are going to outlast anything that Good Enough ever does,
Yeah.
is what's very, very special to me about it. And so I'm honored, and I had the privilege to work with all of those fantastic people. And I think that's what's really gonna stick with me. And that was my favorite part of the whole thing.
Sweet. Okay. All right. And I see there's screening coming up for the films. Are you going to be part of that?
I mean, I hope to be. I'll definitely be. It'll be on my radar. Like I said, I'm graduating in a
Oh,
couple
that's right.
months,
Yeah.
so I really have no idea what my life is gonna look like after that. So I don't
That's
know if
true.
I'll be like available, but if I am, you can bet your bottom dollar I'm gonna be part of any screening that's happening in my vicinity.
All right. Okay. There you go. And what do you like doing during your free time when you're not acting? I mean, if you have any free time with school.
I do actually. I've been trying to take some more time for myself actually. One thing that I've been really into lately is just you know, self-care and personal
Mhm.
development. I've really enjoyed, organizing my life, reading books, things that like we all know are like healthy that but we just like neglect
Yeah.
sometimes. I've been blocking out specific times in my day to read or to work out or to develop a new project, like whatever that might be. I mean, practically, I love eating sushi. I
Oh,
love
I
making
love
music.
sushi.
Oh man, I mean, we got great sushi places. I live in Evanston right now, and like we got some amazing sushi places. One of my roommates actually works at one of the best sushi places here, so I get a little discount, which is sick.
Ah,
Yeah, I mean, I love hanging out with friends. I'll go downtown and try some new foods or go to like, go to some clubs or whatever. I'm just trying to have a good time. And I think that really, yeah, I've most recently though, I've really enjoyed in my free time just free time making that some me time and just
exactly.
taking a breath and really, acknowledging just I mean, it's so I want to just say, I mean, it's such a privilege to like talk to you and like just the fact that I've been a part of things that are commanding like attention from
Yeah.
other people and like you're taking the time out of your day to speak to me like just these little things that kind of we take for granted sometimes. I've been trying to really internalize and appreciate for what they are because I understand that, my life could change at any time and I don't know if I'm going to
Sure.
be able to, I want to always be able to acknowledge just how far I've come and how I want to keep myself happy and like all that being said, I just try to take every day and really be grateful for what I have. So that's kind of what that's honestly what I do in my free time right now. It's kind of, you know, I don't know. I feel like it's a little corny sometimes, but it's
No,
true.
it's great.
It's true.
I mean, everybody like every now and then should take time out for themselves, like you were saying, like self care and just going out and enjoying being with friends or family or going out to eat or seeing a movie or going clubbing. I
Absolutely.
mean, it helps your mind.
It does. It does. I mean, as an actor, as an artist, as a whatever, I think that the best fuel is just life. And,
Exactly.
if your life revolves around the things that you make, there's nothing to fill your cup and there's nothing, what life are you, what life experience are you acting with or what life experience are you putting into your art? I think taking time for yourself is a necessary part of the process.
Oh, it
And
definitely
that's
is.
something that I really embrace as like important to me. And yeah, I mean, this is for you, but also for anybody watching. Like, I like highly suggest just taking a moment out of your day
Mhm.
and like just appreciating something about your life and then just like being thankful for that and letting that like start your day and letting that be a thing that you keep in mind as things go right and things go wrong and that's just life. But I mean, at the end of the day, we're all, I think, in the place that we need to be and that
Yeah.
we're supposed to be and that like there's something special to that. I don't know, but yeah, I just take that time for yourself and like everything's gonna be okay. you
Okay.
know
I mean, I love it. I love it. That's great. And my show deals a lot with horror movies, and I always ask guests this, like, do you like horror films? And if you do, what are some of your favorite horror films?
Okay, here's the thing, Robert. I'm not gonna fib on your show because I always keep it 100, okay? So I'm not a big horror fan, but I'll
Okay.
tell you why. I'll tell you why, and maybe you can steer me in the right direction. Because when I hear the word horror, I immediately think jump scares. I
Hmm.
think, cheap cheap scares, not a lot of plot going on. I know
Yeah.
there are great horror films. But I think actually what I am a little bit more interested in is like thrillers and like psych thrillers especially, things that make me think and that is what's scary, not
Okay.
necessarily like very gruesome visuals. I mean, I unfortunately I feel like our whole generation's kind of desensitized to that, you know. So I'm like, it takes a little bit more than like an arm being chopped off for me to be like, um,
That's
but you
true. You're
know,
right.
I will say, I don't know if you consider. So I got to ask you for some
Okay.
next, but first I want to ask you, do you consider films like Midsummer and Parasite to be horror
Oh,
films?
definitely. Yes.
Yeah. Well,
Definitely.
I love those. Like because I feel like, you know, a very nice narratively driven horror film. And I will say also, have you seen the film Gerald's Game?
Yes.
I
Yes.
really like that one
That
actually.
was really good. That was.
I,
That
I
was
I
really
thought that
good.
was well done. I honestly almost turned it off like halfway through, but I like just kept watching and I was like, wait, this is actually really interesting. Obviously, the material is super solid. I mean, that's Stephen King, you know.
Yeah.
Kind of your ball to fumble in that regard if, you know, you can't make a good movie out of Stephen King. But yeah, let me think of some others. I mean, are there any that come to your mind, like some of your favorites that maybe I've not seen?
I mean, like a lot of my favorites are like really cheesy horrors, like from the '80s, like like
Okay, yeah.
the Elm Streets and the Halloweens and
Sure. Scream? You like Scream?
Scream. I love Scream and
Yeah. You know, I mean,
Chucky and all that.
yeah. These, you know, I say, you know, I'm not a horror fan, but I feel like that's because I'm not as well versed in the culture, you know? I
Hmm.
mean, as much as there is product, I think for any version of art, I mean, the way that it gets to be what it is
Yeah.
almost always equally as interesting, if not more. And I don't know a lot of that about horror. So I don't mean to, you know, paint a blanket statement over the whole genre. But, you know, from my perspective, I'm like, definitely when I come to a film, I'm looking to engage with the storyline.
Hmm.
I'm looking to, you know, have some gears turning, but not have all the answers. I also will say a straight up horror film that I actually really enjoyed was Hereditary, which I thought
Yes.
was
Yes.
pretty much straight horror, but honestly terrifying. And
Yeah.
like, I was like, you know, that's pretty good. But yeah, you know, if you've got some recommendations, some things coming up, or some things that you know you're looking forward to, or that you've
Hmm.
seen that you think about later, seriously, let me know because I mean, I'm
Okay.
always looking to watch some new films, and like, I will say also, you know, whatever genre, you know, Jordan Peele's stuff is
Oh
starting to
yeah.
be
Yeah. Us
a
and all
little
that.
bit,
Yeah.
yeah, like it's horror, but I don't know why it's got a little bit of a different texture to me than like, you know, when I think horror movie, he's got his own thing going on,
Yeah.
and
He does.
I think, you know, what was the first big one? I think you just did you say
Us.
yeah, oh well, Us was great, yeah.
No, wait, wait. Us
The
was
one
the
before
second
that,
one. Yeah,
yeah,
Us was the second one. Oh
Get
my
Out,
God,
Get Out.
what was the first one? I'm trying to
It
think
was Get
now.
Out.
Yes, that was it. That was it.
I really liked that one. You know, I'm a sucker for like, oh my gosh, have you watched Atlanta?
No, no. Is it good?
Dude, Rock, okay. What you need to do, I'm gonna look it up right now because I'm serious. You're gonna love this, okay?
Okay.
Um, okay. So what Atlanta is one of my favorite shows ever, but in the season two, there are some episodes that are like anthology, so you don't
Okay.
really need to know who's who. Like it doesn't follow a storyline. There's a horror episode of Atlanta
Really?
that is actually one of the best horror films I've ever seen personally. If you check out season two, episode six
All
of
right.
Atlanta, it's called Teddy Perkins. It is unnerving and it is really good. I think you'll very
Teddy
much like it.
Perkins?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I definitely will.
Yeah, let me know what you think about that. But yeah, I mean, the whole thing also was genre. Sorry if I'm talking a lot. You know, I
Oh no,
love
no, no. This is
films
great. This is great.
and
I love
stuff.
it.
Um, you know, the whole thing that I love about, you know, music and films is that I feel like genre is really just like something that has come into play because you know, studios need to know how to market things, but really that's all it is. And like I think some of my absolute favorite, you know, horror, drama, comedy, whatever, my
Yeah.
favorite stuff to watch is stuff that understands the genre that it is intended to be or that it is marketed as, but adds the essence of other things that build it into just a great work, you know? No, the scariest movies are not scary the whole time through.
That's true.
Otherwise, there's
That's
no
true.
release. Like,
That's true.
and comedies that are just one-liners the whole time are empty. Like it's not good. Good comedy has good drama. Good drama has some comedy, and good
Yeah.
horror has comedy, I think.
Yeah. Exactly.
Um,
Exactly.
so I mean, all that to say is like, I love stuff that is genre bending, and kind of takes you by surprise. I just last night watched the film Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Hmm.
And it's one of those films that is super unique and adds a
Oh,
lot
okay.
of different genres and puts things together. And I just love it when you kind of can't classify it, when those I think are the really standout pieces of work in my opinion. So yeah, that's my take on horror movies.
Oh, all right. Okay. Uh, I mean, all the ones you told me about are all great. So at least you got good taste in like creepy horror movies.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I got to expand my palette though. So,
And being a person who does music, like who's on your playlist?
dude, let me pull out my playlist before I disrespect it real quick. Honestly, I got some really cool people on my playlist. Um, I mean, so I use Spotify, and so honestly, a lot of music is recommended to me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even find it half the time. I'll just listen to my daily mix and be like, oh, I like that. Um, Let me just some of my favorites off the top. I mean, I love Bruno Major. He's this artist that makes like acoustic jazz. It's very easy to listen to. It's fantastic. I've been really into Anderson .Paak recently. I mean, his project with Silk Sonic with Bruno Mars has gotten super popular, and
Yeah. Yeah.
it's just reminded me like how great of an artist he is individually, and like I love his stuff. Tom Misch is another great artist. Lucky Day is an up and coming R&B artist that's
Oh.
fantastic. I'm a big Amine fan. He is like hip hop, and along the hip hop, I got a couple more. Baby Keem is great. He's kind of almost mainstream now, but he's great. I love oh, who was I gonna talk about? Oh, um, oh, Blast. That's BLXST. He
Oh.
makes just like some of the smoothest like R&B hip hop I've ever heard. Great voice, great melodies. Really, he's gonna be so popular soon. And this guy, this white rapper, Baby No Money, who is just like what I love about some of these artists is like Baby No Money is a guy where he's just like he doesn't take it very seriously. Like
Oh.
he
All
doesn't
right.
music is kind of like a thing where he just makes songs, but they're all great because I think there's no one great way to be an artist. And I
Yeah.
think that a lot of times sometimes people just want to have fun. They don't have anything crazy to say or, paradigm shifting to add to music. But sometimes that's what I want to listen to. Some easy listening, something fun, something for a party, like music and art, it all has its place. And I think the most important thing is that it's coming from an authentic place from that artist at that point in time. And these are some artists that, Bruno Major is like an old time favorite. Still love him. One of my favorite artists ever.
Nice. Nice.
Some of these other guys like Blast, and I Lucky Day, I'm just getting into and like am really excited to see their trajectory. But those are some people that are on my radar.
Okay.
Check some of those out if you are interested by anything I said.
Oh,
Oh, and
definitely.
there is one more guy. This guy Jay Towns. I don't know if you've heard of him, but
Wait,
he's
yeah.
got,
I,
you
I
know,
I think I wait. Where did I hear his name at?
I don't know. I don't know. Probably small artist type vibes, but I hear he's cooking up some crazy
I,
heat for 2022. So
yeah, I'm
you should
trying to remember
definitely.
where I heard his name at.
I heard he was like an actor or something too. I guess he can't pick a lane, so it's kind of whatever. But yeah.
But I mean, that's really awesome to know that you're going to be coming out with new music.
Absolutely. I'm getting inspiration from everywhere all the time. So, I mean, it's only a matter of trying to put it together and
Yeah,
make sure that it's something at the end of the day I can listen to or, just take in and be proud of, release into the ether, then on to the next.
exactly, exactly.
You
So
got well, sorry, I was just going to ask real quick, do you
yeah,
have anything upcoming that you're excited about? Like anything that, you're hoping to add to your, you know,
ooh,
either content intake or creation? Like you got anything you're excited about?
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
It's okay. I know I just put you on the spot. I know you weren't ready for me to be asking you to
Yeah,
introduce.
right.
But I'm just curious, honestly. It seemed like a cool guy.
I mean, other than this, I mean, I'm always looking forward to whoever my next guest is. Like, I love doing this, and this is something that I really like because me and my good friend Tim, like we run a horror site. That's why I ask about the horror movies,
Okay, gotcha.
and and the word Grue, like that comes from our horror site, and
Mm,
our horror site, it's like horror and metal because like horror and metal
okay,
always goes hand in hand. Like if you watch like horror movies, they always have like the metal songs in there.
totally.
So that's why we made a website that dedicated to the world of horror and metal. And the site's about 5 years old, and we've interviewed like that. We interviewed like everybody on that site, and it was at that time, since it's like five years old, like pre COVID, and everything was like written because no one was doing video interviews at the time, so everything was written, and
Hmm.
we got people like William Shatner and
Whoa,
Harry Potter himself, Dan Radcliffe, and we
that's
got like
sick, man.
D. Snyder from Twisted Sister, and
Oh yeah.
like a whole bunch of like great people we had for the site, and then COVID hit, and everyone was updating the videos, and we were still doing written yet, and
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and like the fans of the site were saying, oh, we're tired of reading, we want to do videos, and me, I have like a speech issue with stuttering, as I say, like in every interview, I'm the host that stutters,
Yeah.
and I wasn't ready for video because I'm like, I can't talk on camera. I mean, my speech
Dude,
and
I mean, look, I just want to say, man, I'm seriously so like, I mean, this is weird because I just met you, but like,
yeah,
I'm proud of you, like, because I mean, dude, I mean, you are an example of how, somebody would see that and be like, oh, I have a stutter. Like, I could never do this. And like, I honestly think it's awesome how you've made that your brand. And let me just say, this is one of the best interviews I've ever been in. And I've done
thank
quite
you.
a few actually, not just for acting, but just for like other stuff,
Well,
and
yeah,
like, you got to give yourself some credit, man. I mean, seriously, like, it's not stopping you. And I think if anything, it'll just make you that much more unique. And like, I just hope it doesn't seem like you are stopping anytime soon, but
no,
just
no.
in case you need to hear somebody say it, like, you should keep doing what you're doing because you're good at it.
Thank God. I mean, that really means a lot to me because when I first started doing this, when COVID is when I first started doing it, and I was like so scared and nervous. Like when I first, like if you go back on like the Grue Room show, like the first, like I think 10 or 12, maybe even 20 the interviews that I did, I was so scared to show my face. I put a clown mask on, and I did all my
Oh yeah,
interviews with a clown mask. I wouldn't show my face because I didn't want like the world to see like who's this person that keeps stumbling over his words, and
yeah,
but then I just took the mask off, and I'm like, you know what, if they don't like me, they don't have to watch it, they don't have to follow
exactly,
me. Like
exactly.
there's
And like,
other
yeah,
interview shows, I mean, there's other podcasts and interview shows. If they don't like mine, they'll just go to someone else.
exactly, man. And it's like you can never know how your stuff's going to be,
Hmm.
received. So it's always like as much as you're making it for other people to enjoy, I mean, you got to make sure that you love doing it. Otherwise, it's just not going to it's never going to fit. And I think I mean, it's so much easier to say than to do because I mean, I also make content, I make like YouTube videos and
Yeah,
stuff, and I'm always thinking, like am I making this for my like am I enjoying doing this or like do I feel like I have to fulfill a certain need of like, the community? But at the end of the
exactly.
day, like the people who are going to ride with you are going to support you like through and like cuz you're going to like maybe, I mean, I don't know, but like I know for me, I don't know if I'm going to be acting my whole life. Like I don't know if I'm going to be
Exactly.
making music my whole life, but
Exactly.
I know the people who really support me are going to follow me in whatever I do and like that's what matters to me. I know my videos are going to be sometimes more popular, sometimes less popular,
Yeah.
but if views were the reason that I was making videos, I think I probably would have stopped a long time ago. So, I think that's always something to keep in the back, just that you're enjoying what you do at the end of the day.
You're right. No, you're absolutely right about that. Thanks for saying that. I
Yeah,
mean,
bro.
that means a lot. Thank you.
I'm glad. I mean, I've appreciated, the time that you've taken to like, again, to talk to me today. And like, I just wanted to, let you know my honest opinion just based on talking to you. It seems like a really great thing you got going on. I'm going to be following you now. And
Okay.
I'm going to be hoping you put me on some good horror recs, and
Yes, definitely
I'm
will.
looking forward to
Definitely
that.
will.
So, because I'm an avid consumer of film, and no reason I can't start dabbling in horror. And who knows, maybe I'll even make some metal music.
Right? Exactly. Hey, I mean, you do have an elect- electric guitar in the back, so I mean,
Yeah. I actually had a family member when I was younger. He was really into metal, and so I have like random, like there's a few songs that like I just know for some
mhm.
reason, and I'm like, this kind of catchy. Like, I can incorporate this somehow. I'm not exactly sure how yet, but we'll see.
Okay. I mean, that's awesome. I like that. And where can fans find you at? Like, what's your socials and YouTube and
So
TikTok
glad,
and
so glad you asked. I'm currently not like I'm on TikTok, but like don't go to my TikTok. But, you can find me, if you look up J Towns on Instagram, I'm at J Towns. On YouTube, youtube.com/J Towns. For our professional viewers, if you're trying to connect with me on LinkedIn, you got LinkedIn/J Towns. I try to make it streamlined. But yeah, I'm all over the place. So look up J Towns on the app. You're trying to find me, and I'll probably be there. Don't let me up on TikTok though. That's embarrassing. I don't know. I feel like I'm old. I feel like I'm old because I don't get TikTok. I might try it, down the line, I'm sure.
yeah.
But it's just like overwhelming for me. So find me on Instagram or like YouTube for now.
There you go. Well, I want to thank you for taking time out of your night coming on the show. Like, it was really awesome talking to you. I appreciate what you said to me, and it was like really awesome to talk to you and find out about the film you're in. Good enough, and everyone has to keep up to date with that if they want to see the film, and
Yes,
of
sir.
course your music too. I like thanks so much for doing this.
Absolutely. I appreciate it, man. We're gonna stay in contact,
Oh,
Rocco. Thanks for
definitely.
having me on the Groom Room. It's my pleasure. My pleasure to be here, and I hope to we'll be in touch, man.
Definitely will. Thank you. Okay.